everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of Podshots with Bhawna, where I serve you with crisp insights, brewed strong, and served in short bites. Well, first of all, again, thanking you for liking, sharing, loving this concept of this weekly bite sized episodes of Podshots. Well, I think all of us know that when strategy meets its action, the revenue automatically flows. But today I will be joined by a seasoned industry leader who knows exactly how. And if you are the curious one who wants to know that how do these leaders actually drive synergies between the teams, nurture the talent, and execute the strategies to the core, then let me tell you, you are in the right episode. So allow me a moment till I bring up the guest for today's show on the screen for all of us. Okay, guys, it's my real pleasure to welcome someone who's not just a mere industry friend, but happens to be one of my former manager as well, Mr. Bimal Desai. Bimal is a seasoned leader with a strong track record of driving commercials across both sales and marketing. I would say Bimal is the one who has lived it, led it, and scaled it. He comes with a rich experience of, or I would say, a rich blend of strategic insights, hands on leadership, and even driving some real high performing teams across various industries. So let's join me in welcoming Bimal. Bimal, thank you so much for being my guest today on this Podshots with Bhawna show.
Thank you very much, Bhavna. I think you still sound the same.
Yeah.
Same level of enthusiasm. It's been some time since I think we formally connected. It's so nice to connect with you. And first of all, many congratulations, Bhavna, on this wonderful idea of pod shots. I think when you talked about it, when you shared that information, it sounded really interesting. Completely different idea as you've always been doing in the past. Not the usual podcasts that everybody now is used to. Podshots, great name, great concept, and I'm so glad that you are having me on this one of the first Podshots as well that you have been recording. So thank you very much for having me, Bhavna, and look forward to kind of connecting and talking to you more.
Thanks again, Bimal. I'm sure that our conversation is going to be really insightful and helpful to all the audience who are going to watching you and seeing you and hearing you. So let's get into, as our theme is about sales and marketing, into the action. So you have actually lived through this. So and being a very successful leader, driving both the teams together. I would really want to understand from you that according to you, what is that mantra or the key which can really let both the teams work together, and perform high performing teams?
I think a great conversation to start with. And I as well started my journey as a marketing person, as somebody in product management, and I can tell you for sure that this is one question that always has been there. If I whether I look at it probably 3 decades back when I actually started my career, or even now as such, most leaders, most organizations have this very unique dilemma of how do you handle sales and marketing, how do you make sure that they work together, how do you have a great communication and great working relationship between these two teams, rather than seeing them as competitors or seeing them as somebody who's trying to come in between what the other person is doing. Having them work together is very unique. So if I were to kind of give a very interesting analogy, I would say this is like a relay race. Sorry, it's not like a relay race, I should say. A relay race is where you pass a baton from a salesperson to a marketing person, a marketing person to a salesperson. This is like a three-legged race where there's no chance that you can have one person drive in one direction and the other person drive in another direction. It cannot work that way. Or probably if I were to kind of give an even more humorous analogy, I would say it's like having a cat and a dog perform synchronous swimming.
Okay.
You throw them into water, and both of them, if they try to swim in their own ways, there's no way you're going to have a lovely synchronous swimming that you actually see in competition. So it's very interesting to have both of them work together. I think for me, what I've really observed, and luckily for me, because I was a marketing person earlier in my days, it's about working together. And as long as A marketing and a salesperson sees shared ownership,
True.
have a common goal in mind. If they are involved from the very beginning in terms of setting KPIs, setting goals together, and looking at each other, making sure that they are aligned on what they are trying to achieve, it definitely works. So I would say it's more about shared ownership rather than looking at each other as competitors or somebody who's trying to.
I think that's a very valid point which you have raised, because many of the organizations actually ignore that point of having some shared goals, because that
Yeah.
really helps, because it's end of the day it's a organization objectives at the top, so everyone is working towards that. So definitely there's a need to have those shared goals. So very valid point. Now coming to, since you have led many strong and high performing teams, and across many industries for that matter, uh, how do you nurture the talent, and how do you ensure that the people who work with you are future ready leaders?
Uh, I think performance management, leadership, team management is a very unique skill, I would say. And it's not something that a person is born with. It's something that I would say you have the skill in yourself, but you have to master it. You have to polish it as you move forward. And I don't think there's somebody can become a leader or is a leader and he remains what it is. It's an ever evolving learning that a person basically uh, gathers as the person grows. Not everybody in a team, and I would probably have to put, if I put in an analogy here once again, it's like coaching a cricket team. So not everybody in the team is going to be Virat Kohli, but everybody has a specific role in the team. So as long as a leader is able to make sure that he separates both behavior and the outcome, you are the one who actually will be able to drive the performance from the person, from an individual, or from a team member, from a colleague of yours, from a peer of yours, the way you want him to be delivering. So it's not just about making somebody to perform exceptionally well like what somebody else is performing, but it's about making sure that the behaviors and outcome are separated, and you basically coach a person wherever needed and not criticize him as whenever he falters.
Yeah, I
So
think
it's like
that's
sorry, go ahead.
no, please complete.
No. So I mean, I was just trying to say, give an example. Something, when you're looking at large value deals, what you see is these are very long-term deals which a person basically tries to close, and it can sometimes takes years before a large contract is got. So, in a situation like that, you might win, you might lose, and there can be multiple reasons. So if you're able to coach the person and also bring out some awards, some trophies like almost close a deal trophy. That's a very unique
Mhm.
trophy. It's kind of a
That's unique.
motivator, not just something which is criticizing that you lost a deal. So something like that really helps.
Yeah, I think that piece, what you're mentioning, the hand holding, the mentorship, the coaching, all along the journey really matters. So
Yeah.
it, I mean, when the team feels that they are part of it, and the leader is actually leading from the front as well as supporting from the back, I think that really matters. So good.
Absolutely.
So now since as you rightly mentioned that you have been into marketing side as well as the sales side, so you know the holistic cycle or the entire journey or customer journey, from awareness to the conversion and repeat processes. So according to you, what do you think, or how important is the customer feedback in this entire course of journey?
Customer feedback is like when you're driving a car, it's like GPS. Many times you don't like what the GPS is showing you or the route that the GPS is showing you, but you miss out on that, you ignore it, and you have seen a lot of accidents nowadays happening when somebody, that's the GPS also is wrong, I would say, nowadays. But it's like GPS. So as long as you are able to, make sure that you follow the right directions that a customer gives, it actually is the most critical aspect of any successful business or any successful leaders. Whether it's a sales leader, whether it's a business leader, marketing leader, customer feedback primarily forms the basis for someone to succeed, actually. It's like free consulting. I mean, it's you are actually getting a free consulting from someone without being paid or without him being paid. What's very important here is that you as somebody who's taking a feedback from customers has to be extremely thick-skinned, but at the same time smart enough to listen to him and act before someone else does it.
Absolutely.
I would say the trick here, if I were to kind of simply put it in a few words, uh, is uh, is ask before they are angry and act before you become famous. That's the best way to put in probably how customer feedback should be taken and how important the customer feedback actually is.
No, I think I really like the term which you use, free consultation. So it's something which they are volunteering to give, and even if we are not able to take it on the right time and act accordingly, then I think the loss is
Yeah,
all ours. So I think that's really
absolutely.
well said. So coming back to again, the team leadership angle, since you have managed, big teams and high performing teams, so how do you ensure that in sales, as you were mentioning in your previous thing, that many a times the gestation period, especially in the B2B industry where we come in from, the incubation period is really long. So to keep
Yeah.
the morale high of the team, many a times it's just there but not there, or you just
Mm.
slip down from that 99, and then so as a leader, I'm sure you must have faced a lot of such first-hand incidents. So how do you ensure that you keep the morale high of the team, in such high-performing teams?
Uh, I would say it's about nurturing, basically nurturing talent that you have within your team. And nurturing talent basically is not about trying to see a clone of yourself in them. It's not about cloning yourself. It's about creating a garden, where different type of talent can grow uh, and thrive well. That's very, very important. So most of the time, I think what many times leaders actually tend to do is they try to see themselves as someone what they have been very successful, and they try to see a clone of theirs in high performing individuals within a team, which is not necessarily. Every flower is different, every tree is different, any plant is different. So that's how it is. I would say I prefer throwing people into the deep. That might sound a little harsh, but what's important is what comes after it, which is give them a life jacket as well. The life jacket here is you. As you said, be a mentor, be available when you want, be with them on the field, be accessible. I think that becomes a very, very important life jacket, and it's the confidence that basically your team needs to have, that I am being told to do something because I am capable of doing. And if I am failing, I'm not going to be penalized. I'm not going to be punished because my manager, my colleague, my friends are all with me here in this journey. And if I fail, they fail. So there's no reason why somebody would want me to fail. So that's very important. So it's like giving them messy assignments, high stake assignments, but be with them when you are there. And second thing, what I would also say is they need to see that you yourself are also learning. So it's kind of reverse mentoring actually works very well. I'm a firm believer of having being getting reverse mentored by individuals, and especially in today's generation when they're very young, they know much more than what you know in a lot of areas. So I remember sometimes talking to my marketing person, trying to learn the tricks of Instagram, probably from people like you. Which they know much better, or the trips of social media, which they know much better, and probably in a way making sure that I help them in terms of understanding how P&L works, how businesses work. So this is how probably you make sure that your team is mentored, motivated, and stays performing.
Oh, I think it's a very valid point, and as you rightly mentioned, pushing them to unleash their potential is definitely right, but being there for them as a life jacket is more
Yeah.
critical. So I think both the sides need to be balanced, and you very well summed it up. So that's the
Yeah.
reason I'm sure that you have been so successful in leading high performing teams with this kind of behavioral leadership behavioral attitude which you are performing. Okay, to the last question of this core section, and after which I'm sorry I forgot to tell you the format initially, that we are going to have a rapid fire also towards the end of this.
Okay.
So the last question of this core grid is that since you just now mentioned that the leader should also be a learning one. So because many leaders feel insecure, or that if their teams are more competent. So what is your take on it, and how you yourself are growing in this ever growth path?
I would say it's pretty simple. For me, it's pretty straightforward. You hang out with smart people, whether they are your peers, whether they are your colleagues, whether they are your managers, whether they are your team members. Stay curious and never trust the most polished PowerPoint presentation. There's always something that you need to make sure that the most polished PowerPoint presentations may not necessarily be the best PowerPoint
Correct.
presentation, the
Correct.
best plans
Absolutely.
as such. So that's what it is. I think I read obsessively. I read obsessively. I'm with younger folks around who teach me. Even now, when I'm currently pursuing my PhD, clearly an indicator that I want to learn. It's not learning is never over. I've always been a student. I think I'm going to be a student all my life. So with that, I'm with young folks. They teach us a lot of things. There are tricks that they have, and also the last thing what I would say is if you really want to learn, take on projects, take on assignments which can make you slightly nervous. Not the most straightforward projects, not the most straightforward assignments. So that is what is very important. So kind of, I would say uh, begins growth begins when PowerPoints end. I would say, whether you're standing in front of
You
a
are
team and you're putting
completely
your
off from the PowerPoints.
exactly. So PowerPoint is not the end. The growth
Correct.
starts after PowerPoint. PowerPoint is something which is
Absolutely.
great platform, but
Yeah.
growth begins after the PowerPoint. So that's how it is. You need to be a student all your life, learn from others. There's everything that you learn from someone is there to give you ideas and knowledge. So be a learner.
Absolutely. I think I liked your statement where you said that, accept some challenging things, because we love to be in the comfort zone, but actual growth begins when we step out of the comfort zone. So
Exactly.
we always need to create the new comfort zones and break them and go out every time when we actually get into
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
So I think it's wonderful. Now we are done with the main grid. So now it's time for some quirky, funny, informal talks with you, Bimal, in the rapid fire question, where I'm going to shoot you some questions and we will expect candid replies from you. So are
I'm
you
not
ready?
the best at rapid fire, so I can kind of
That's
put
okay, as long
myself.
as it's candid. Okay, so are you ready? I'll
Yeah.
start the timer now. Okay.
Mhm.
So Bimal, what is your go-to power-up snack before a big client call? Is it an energy bar, or is it a cutting chai, or is it something spicy?
I would say my go-to power-up snack for anything is hot water.
Hot.
That
Oh,
keeps me
okay.
hot, that keeps me warm, and that makes sure that I kind of don't get cold feet when I'm standing in front of from customers or to who am I presenting.
And I'm sure it's one of the formula for being so lean now. So I think that hot water
That
really
is
works
genetic. That
multiple
is
times.
genetic. I have
Okay, okay. Okay, something very interesting. If your leadership style was one of the dish which I'm going to read out, what would it be? Will it be dokla, which is light and spongy, always rising under pressure? Or would it be umbio, which is complex mix that comes out together very beautifully? Or would it be fafra jalebi, which is a bold combo of sweet strategy and spicy execution?
I am a hardcore Gujarati. All of them were Gujarati dishes,
Yeah,
but I
but
have a little bit of a
every
soft corner for the wrongly termed dokla. I would say I am a big fan, and I would consider myself as khaman, and
okay,
not dokla, which is
okay,
spicy, tangy, salty, and something that always rise when there is a lot of pressure. So I think I would consider myself
okay.
as a khaman.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, so since you said that you are an avid reader, so I'm sure there is one book which lives rent free in your head. Which one is that?
It's difficult for me to really say which book. I'm a big fan of biographies. One of the best biographies that I've really enjoyed has been Steve Jobs' biography. I really, really loved it. Currently, of course, I read a lot of management books. So there have been two recent books that I have three books, I would say, which I have really liked. One is a book called Jugaad, lovely book. The second one is one that I'm kind of currently reading is Crossing the Chasm. Great
Okay.
book by Geoffrey Moore. Amazing, amazing book in terms of this is something that, because I'm into a lot of startups, it helps. understanding how to cross a chasm, especially when you are launching new products or new technologies or new ventures. And probably the third one that I'm currently really read, which I really liked, was something which is the name of the book is Founder's Mentality. It's an
Okay.
amazing book to really understand how does the founder's mentality differ from some other businessman as such. So some of these great books is that I really, really enjoy.
Okay. Okay, the last one. What do you have currently more? Is it more of unread emails or unread WhatsApp messages?
I've always had unread WhatsApp messages, especially WhatsApp messages on groups. People hate me for that, but I've made sure that people know that I don't reply to messages on groups because I don't look at groups. People put me into groups, I stay there, but
Mute.
unread WhatsApp messages, absolutely. Emails are the
Okay.
ones that I still try to find, but yeah, but not WhatsApp messages.
Okay, thank you so much, Bimal. It was brilliant and we are sharp on time. So thanks again for your time and your valuable insights. I'm sure all the viewers are going to get benefited out of it. Thanks once again for coming over for this show. And we wish you all the best. And next time when we meet, I would introduce as Dr. Bimal Desai.
Still some time, long journey to go. Just started a journey, but thank you very much, Bhavna, for having me. I'm so glad we connected, and looking forward to more of such conversations. And wishing you all the best for a very very successful, Podshot uh, publisher, I would say, as such. Thank you and all
Thanks.
the best.
Thanks a lot, Bimal. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, guys, so this was Bimal Desai for all of you. I'm sure he really showed us that how leadership is not something choosing between sales or marketing. It's something working together, winning together, doing together. I'm sure there were a lot of bookmarks from this conversation, which you all must have taken a note of it. So this is a wrap for today. And since it's raining pretty heavily over here, so I have a hot piping cup of chai, a strong tea. You pick up your shot of joys, but don't forget to come back next week, next Friday, till I bring on a new industry leader to distill all the wisdom. Till then, stay curious, stay candid, stay relevant, take good care of yourself and your loved ones. Till we meet next, bye bye, signing off.